What's up, guys? We are here for another episode of the Laugh Podcast with my co-host, Dom Fenison.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. Today is a very special day because we have the one, the only, Mr. Tyson Beckford.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
How are you?
Thank you. What's going on, guys? How are we?
We're
I was
chilling.
surprised,
That's
we were
what's
like,
up.
we reached out. We were like, you think we could get Tyson? For me, it's a huge honor. So I was like, hey, when you said yes, we were very happy about it. So thank you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I try to do as many as I can, especially, people that I look up to. I see you guys on TV before. So
Thank you.
And I know about your podcast. So I just had to move some things around and make sure I got here.
I'm happy it worked.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's so funny. So, when I booked this studio, I was telling them about some of the guests we were going to have, and they were like, oh, we just had Tyson Beckford. And I was like, say less. I was like, do you know that my co-host boyfriend is a model? And, and he's a pretty successful model. But, we were talking about it. We're like, you were a model in the days of like
the golden age.
The golden age.
I think that was the era to be a model.
Yes.
I mean, we were like rock stars.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, it's almost cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many guys doing so many things. You don't know who's who. And, they don't have a chance to have a character, have a personality because they're in today and they're gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like social media too just really oversaturated things that people are
100%.
too accessible. And I also feel like that's in general why stars aren't really stars the way they used to be. Is because people are so accessible now that it's like the mystique is gone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's like everybody on Instagram's a model.
Well, yeah, I look at it all the time. So for me, I try not to say I'm a model.
But
I do the opposite.
But I feel like, the era of when you were coming up, it's like, even with the female models, that was a time when it was like, you had Naomi Campbell, you had Tyra Banks, you had all of these big names. And I feel like it kind of has faded out to where like there's these big names in modeling these days. And I think that is, like he said, because of the oversaturation with social media. But I also feel like now these days you have to set yourself apart by doing other stuff. And I think you did a great job at that by doing acting and expanding into other areas.
I started early with that because I actually, a lot of people don't know this, but I came in as an actor first. And then a friend of mine dragged me to a model casting. And, he was just like, yo, just do this to pay the bills. And I was like, all right, well, hey. And then I got to a set and they were like, oh, put this on. I was like, how much am I getting paid? They were like, you're getting paid this much. I was like, what else you want me to do? So for me, it was just like, it was so easy. And because I had the acting background, I was able to, I would come in and I say to the photographer, what's my motivation today? Like a true thespian would come into a scene and they would give me the motivation. They would show me the board and the mood board. And then I would just take it from there. And then I'd be like, yo, throw on some music. And then, I would just do whatever I felt, how the clothes made me feel. So for me, it was so easy to adapt to it and, kill it as a model. I just was like, everybody should be doing this. But then I saw like other guys and girls struggling, because they weren't, I don't know if you want to say they weren't like confident within themselves, but it does take some confidence to get out there in your underwear and do whatever, you know what I mean? So it really was different. You know the feeling.
Well, I feel like from the outside looking in, people just don't really understand like the minutia and the nuances of the modeling world.
You go.
And when you get around some of these photographers and these brands and these people, and it's like, it's one of those things. Honestly, this is a big reason why some of my closest friends are models, because it's just something that you will never understand unless you've lived it.
Yes, that's true.
Unless you've been at that one weird photo shoot where they're, you know what I mean? Like you just don't get it, But one thing I really appreciate about you, obviously I was born in the 90s. So right when I was like becoming a preteen was like the 50 Cent era.
Right. Yeah.
I remember you were the main antagonist in the 21 Questions video. But this is my question is like in an industry, to be honest, it's an industry where they're always kind of pushing a little bit of femininity on the men and all that. And you're playing like the antagonist and like a gangster. Like how did you maintain your masculinity in the way you have?
I just think the way that I do is just being myself. I think growing up, I grew up in a masculine house with like my brothers, my stepdad, my uncles always being around, my male cousins, and everybody played sports, and a lot of them went to the military. And I literally had women around me in the house as my sisters, my cousins, my aunts, and my grandmothers. So I got raised by, I would say a den of wolves. I had women and men in the household, and they were all like alpha males, alpha females. There was no question about my masculinity or how I should act or how I should, carry myself. But, I grew up very sensitive. Like, any little thing would make me cry. You know what I mean? And sometimes
what sign
now,
are you?
Sagittarius.
Okay,
so
that's interesting.
For me, that the masculine male was something that I had always around me. So there was no question of who I need to be, when I need to be it. And, but I also had that, I was also in touch with my feminine side because of the women that I was raised by. Like all my older female cousins looked out for me. They were like, I'm gonna hook you up with my friend. You know what I mean? And then my aunts were like, yo, come outside, help me change the oil, or come flush the radiator. And my grandmothers were like, let me show you some sewing. Let me show you how to cook. And, they basically they wanted to make sure that I wouldn't need a woman unless it was for, companionship, for love and all those different things. It wasn't like I needed to depend on one because I was such a, independent man that I knew how to cook. I knew how to do my laundry. I knew how to iron. I needed, if I needed to sew a shirt or a button on a shirt, I knew how to do that. So,
that's dope.
The way that we were raised, I think it's also because it's a West Indian household. Being from Jamaica, we were just brought up that way.
Did you grow up in Jamaica?
I grew up in Jamaica until I was about 7, and then I came to the States. And then from there, it was just like, where is this place? What is that white stuff falling from the sky? Because I grew up as an island kid, So for me, it was like flip-flops, no shirt.
When you moved here from Jamaica as a kid, did you move to New York?
We moved to New York,
Okay,
yes.
so that's way different.
Yeah, it was way different. But on my way to New York, I made a stop here in Florida, which was like in Miami. And I was just like, this place is nice.
Yeah.
But I thought this was where, I'm like, okay, this is America. This is where I'm staying. You go further up. So I had to get on another plane, and it was just like, wow, this place is different. It's very cold, and, got used to it. But, it always, for me, was the culture shock and the culture change. And, being a model and traveling all over the world at that time, for me, was great because I grew up in such different cultures. That's one thing I always tell people to do. Get a passport, travel, see the world. You will come back mature, educated, and worldly. You know what I mean? Because right now it's about us men being Renaissance men. You know what I mean? When you say that to a younger person, they're like, what does that even mean? And it's like you try to tell them it's about culture, art, lifestyle, seeing the world, experiencing different things. And I always believe that we as men now are masculine Renaissance men.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny you said that, because yesterday I guess I just forgot. That was literally how I was going to introduce you, as like, you are a Renaissance man. Like,
right on. I appreciate that.
Because it's so true. Like, you remind me of, also someone like a Jamie Foxx, like just a multi-talented person who just seems to be good at numerous things. Have you always been that way, or is it just something that you cultivated along the way?
I think it's something that sort of kind of been that way, but I had to cultivate it. And what does that is you being on sets all over the world with different clients who, some may speak Spanish, some may speak English, some may speak Italian and French, and you just come up with your own cultivating while you're doing these different jobs. And I think that it's a different world now, that you're in one day and you're out, whereas that we would go to these places and spend some time. We'd eat lunch with these people. We'd eat dinner with them. They would discuss what we're going to shoot. And nowadays they don't do that. They just shoot you and get you out.
I know.
It's funny. I've experienced a little bit of both, because I've had jobs where we went to Cuba and just spent a week in Cuba, or go to the Philippines for a week and have that vibe where you're eating together, you're in the same house, like all that.
Oh yeah.
And then I've also had the ones where where you just fly in, shoot, whatever,
and then you're on your way back already.
So I've experienced both, but it's true. I think that's an underrated part, I think, about
it
being
really is.
in entertainment, is the amount of different types of cultures and people that you're around, and your ability to kind of navigate that and be a chameleon, and just it just makes you a little more cultured.
Yes, it does. And I mean, for us, you know, we've always got our passport in our back pocket.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for me, I always kept 2 bags, one for a cold climate, one for a warm climate, and I literally would come, drop a bag, pick up one, and then go again. And that went on all through the 90s for me. And it was just like, oh my God, can you squeeze in the music video? Oh, who is it for? What am I doing? What's the song?
Well,
okay, yeah, I could do it.
That's
yeah.
cool.
What's funny though is that the music videos that you squeezed in ended up being such big moments in your career. I mean, I remember
such good choices.
I was a young teenage girl seeing you as the lead guy in the Toxic video with Britney Spears, and I was the biggest Britney fan. And I remember I was like, you know, I'll be honest, I was like, oh, that guy's kind of cute. You know, it's like awkward now. I'm here with my boyfriend, like telling you that.
It was so crazy how that one happened.
Teenage girls who were obsessed with Britney Spears were watching you in this video, like, oh my God, that's my dream guy. Like, I gotta date a guy like that. And it's like, it's so funny because you have done all of these big roles and acting and these big modeling jobs all over the world, but it's like these moments.
For 3 decades now.
Young girls like me discovered you. We're like, oh my God, he's the hot guy from the Britney video.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh yeah,
and before that, they used to say the hot guy from the Toni Braxton video. So for 3 decades, I've been like the hot guy in different videos.
Well, do you want to hear a funny story? So that's how we actually met. I was doing a music video and I needed a male model, hot guy.
I love this.
And so he was my hot guy, and it's funny, it's like it was kind of coming out of the pandemic times, and so we just started hanging out after that, and now here we are. Who would have thought?
Parents.
I know, I didn't even connect those dots. So
That's it.
Isn't that funny though?
That is
you know,
good, though.
so you know,
and you guys look great together.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, this was meant to be. This was meant to be. Don't let nobody tell you no different.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You're
We've had
welcome.
people say we look like brother and sister. I'm like, what? I'm like,
no. Who are those people? Stop being friends with them. They're not your friends.
No, but you know what though? I really do think that's something that we have to talk about too. Is like, I think there's been models who have done acting, actors who have done modeling,
right?
And I think that, you know, for Dom also as well, I think that that's something that set him apart from other models. I think a lot of models are just like, it's like there's no personality.
Yeah, they're just cookie cutters.
They're kind of like empty shells, no offense, you know, like but I think it's the models like you have a great personality, you're so charismatic, and I feel like it's those people who become more than just a face, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that we bring to the table, and seeing Dom and talking to him, I can see that he's not just a pretty face.
Yeah.
He can speak, he's well-rounded. And I think us doing the music videos, jumping in movies, doing all the different things, for me, that was so normal, but I look back at other guys and I realized it wasn't really normal. You know, because a lot of guys couldn't make that transition, and a lot of female models can't make it either. And I mean, I've seen so many female models in acting roles, and I'm just like, not for you, honey. You know,
I feel the same.
Yeah.
But then there's some that are really good, like Cara Delevingne. She's an amazing actress, and you see her, and I'm like, oh, you were meant to be more than just a face.
The day I met her, and I met her in London for the first time, and I was just like, yeah, this one's going for her.
Yeah.
This one's going for her.
Because she's got that personality.
Yeah, she does. And it was like, she didn't fit that model mold. It was just like, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm this person, I'm that person. So for me, I can spot them as soon as I meet them. And you know, I spent so many years of doing top model. I did Britain and Ireland's top model. I did Make Me a Supermodel in Australia.
Love that.
I've been around, thank you. I've been around the world helping other people become models. So for me, I can spot talent like right away. And everyone always says to me, why don't you open an agency?
I was just about to say that.
Hell no. You know what that's like?
What, too much work?
That's like babysitting.
For real.
I don't want to work no damn daddy daycare. Because you and I know that sometimes you get one model who's focused, you know, you might get a Dom or a Tyson Beckford, and then you're going to get this other one who's, oh my God, my boyfriend's giving me problems, and you got to talk them off the ledge. I don't got time for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Then I have my own dreams and aspirations. You want me to stop my dreams and aspirations and help you get to where you need to be? That's not fun for me.
No,
You know
that's
what I
so
mean?
true. I've never really thought about it like that, but they kind of are babysitters in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, no, even no, like even like if you think about it, just like the little things that you have to deal with, like whenever like the flight stuff happened, ironically leaving
whenever
Jamaica,
your flight gets delayed,
and he's over
you
here
miss your
texting the
car,
agent like, "Yo, the flight." Da, da, da.
Right, and the agent's got to be there. I mean, I once had an agent up for 12 hours while I traveled and got to the other side. And it was just like, you in the hotel, you checked in, okay, your call time is this, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
And there's people who do that, and it's nothing. Somebody like me, I could do it, but I don't want to do it. You know, I don't. If I
You're
can
like, that's too
avoid
much.
that, yeah, I would. But if I can mentor and help someone, you know, without it interfering with my crazy daily life, then I will. You know what I mean? But to take yourself and say, all right, I'm going to open an agency and I'm going to sit here by the door and wait for these kids to come in. That is madness.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
you
is
could
be
just
madness.
like tie your name to it. Let
That's
other
what
do the
people say
work,
too.
you know?
But then if your house is not correct and it's burning down and they're doing things over there that you don't even know about, nah.
The next thing you know,
I have to be like hands-on. I'd have to be in there every day, be like, all right, let me check this one's board. Okay, why didn't you make this appointment? You know? 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember what it was when I used to show up late and clients be like, hey, he's not here yet. So then I started to correct myself and say, okay, well, I'm going to get here on time. I'm going to get here and I'm going to be ready to shoot, you know? And then there was the times when I didn't dress correctly to the events. I would wear baggy clothes, and then the client would be like, I can't tell if he has a body or not. And then my agent would be like, have him take his clothes off. You're going to see. And then I would take my stuff off, and they were like, wow, why are you hiding that? And it was just me being a shy kid. And then, you know, baggy was in back then.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now it's like, you know, whenever I go to a casting, I'm like, quick to come out of my clothes, you know? I'm like, look at this old man muscle. You
Wait,
know?
so really quick, we have to talk about. So I know you have a son.
Yes, I have a son.
So have you
Yes.
thought about passing down what you
it's
do to
already
him?
passed.
So is he modeling and acting too?
My man. We did for Chinese GQ here in Miami with Arnaldo Anaya.
Oh, nice.
And then we did it with all the OG models that I worked with.
Amazing.
So he got a chance to work with them. And it was just like, I saw it and I knew it. And I was like, this guy can do it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And everybody was thinking the same thing. Like
Yeah.
my agent, my mom, his mom, everybody was like, he can do it, but does he want to do it? So he didn't want to do it at first. Now he's doing it. And I'm like flipping through Fear of God. I'm like, okay, I know this guy. So
That's
now
dope.
he's like, he's taking it on. He plays the guitar. He goes in on auditions now for
Nice.
acting. He went in on HBO Euphoria
Really?
for a role. He didn't get it,
Oh.
but you know, the
That's
mere
still a
fact
big
that
deal.
he got the call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, HBO ain't never called me.
No,
Hello.
That's the funniest thing though about being a parent. You know, it's like I already see in my baby. You got to meet her briefly.
Yeah, I got to meet her.
But you didn't get to fully. You know, she's so smart.
Yeah, because she got both of you.
Thank you.
And it's going to happen.
But
you just got to let it happen.
As a parent, you know, you think like, oh my God, this person could be like actually like a 10 times better version of me. You know,
Yes.
you want to help mold them and help them follow their dreams. But like you see like, oh my gosh, like it's hard to explain, but like they are like, I'm obviously
They're watching you guys.
Yes.
They're watching you guys
Yes.
all the time. Even when you think they're not watching and paying attention, they're taking it all in. For her to be on this set, she's gonna remember this when she grows up.
Yeah.
She'll be like, man, I've been on set since I was 1.5. And all of that, you see it. And it was the same thing with my kid. I used to bring him to photo shoots. I used to bring him to music video sets. I used to bring him to movies. And I didn't think he was paying attention, but he paid attention.
Yeah, he soaked
You
it
know,
all
he
up, and that's
soaked
why
it
he's
all up.
killing it
And
now.
that's why he's killing it right now. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with your little girl.
Yeah.
You're going to do the same thing. And she's going to be 10 times better.
That's
You
what
know
that's
I
what I'm
mean?
saying though. It's like it's so weird to see these like little versions of yourself, and you're like, you're gonna be a little bit better than me. I can already see. You know what I mean?
And then all you got to do is cultivate it, craft it, just keep working with her, and also let her be a kid. When she wants to do it, she'll do it. Don't be one of these set moms that force their kids. I see it all the time, and I'm just like, you know, if I'm working with a kid, I'm just like, you know, tell the parent, chill, let me work with him. And then what I'll do is I'll talk to them normally. I won't Google Gaga talk to them.
Yeah.
Just talk to them like, so what's going on today? How you been, you know? And that, just the way that you speaking to them will change the way that they outlook on things. Because baby talk is not one thing that's one thing we never did with my kid. We just
Same.
talk to
We
him
talk
like,
to her like she's
you know
a
what I
little
mean?
adult.
Yes, and you have to, because that also helps them grow and mature very faster. And then they're just like, okay, I have a better understanding of human conversation, concepts of words, and you'll be surprised how quick. And then when other people meet her, they'll be like, oh my God, she's so smart, so advanced. And you're like, well, yeah, we talk to her like a normal person.
Yeah.
We don't talk to her as if she's a 2-year-old. You talk to her like, hey, you know, you're going to eat that food today? Yeah, it'd be nice if you ate all your veggies, you know?
No,
you
that's
got
what
potty in your diaper? Come on, let's go handle that. You got to do those things with these kids nowadays, because we are actually breeding the next generation of entertainers, whether we know it or not, you know? Whether she grows up and says, well, Mom, I don't want to do it, that's on her. But all these years of watching you, trust me, they'll do it.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Like my mom was one of those moms where, you know, shout out to my mom, I love her.
Right
She
on.
did try to push me a little hard, you know, like I
Yeah,
remember
mine too.
I remember
Yeah.
being like, I don't want to go to piano lessons on Saturday. I don't want to go to this
Right.
audition, you know? And as a kid, I wanted to play more. I wanted to just be a kid.
Yeah.
Naturally, over time, I loved, and that's why she pushed me into it, because she
Yeah.
saw, oh, she's got a thing for music and
Yes.
dancing and singing.
Yes. Now look at you.
And naturally,
See?
I did it on my own.
Yeah.
It was funny. She actually she was like, I gave up. She's like, I was like, let her do what she wants and I'll let her figure out what she wants to do. As she let me figure out what I want to do, I figured out that that was what I was going to do anyways.
Yes.
You know? And so
Yeah.
that's kind of how it is. It's like naturally your kids, I think, will just go into what they're meant to do. And,
No, 100%.
you know?
100%. And that's why we need to just, you know, let them be kids. And if they pick it up naturally, they just pick it up naturally. You know,
Does it
we don't
make
want to
you-
push anything on them. you
Yeah.
I was
know?
gonna say, does it make you proud to like see your son grow up and have these opportunities? Because it sounds like a village raised you, but it
Yeah.
also sounds like you didn't grow up with much. And we also had single moms. We
Yeah,
didn't grow
no,
up
for
with a
sure.
lot.
Single mom.
So
but
now
my mom
you-
remarried and had a stepdad, and he was very influential on my life too. You know, now he's got his SAG card and he's acting.
Really?
And, you know, and it's just there's so many members of my family now who have SAG cards because
Wow.
they saw me doing it.
That's cool.
You know, and my stepdad was like a 9-to-5 guy. He worked for Citibank forever. I thought he was going to be corporate forever. And then I noticed that he had this thing for watching movies and being able to recite, you know, word for word, whatever Clint Eastwood would have said in a Western. And I was just like, this guy should be acting. And then once I started getting into it, so he got pulled into it as well, because my mom was like, oh, they're looking for an extra. So he went and did it. And then he got a little speaking part, and, you know, things have taken off for him.
That's
now
really
he's-
cool.
Now it's like, you know, the Academy is sending him videos to vote for. And I'm just like, they didn't send me that yet.
That's amazing.
So then once I got in, I started getting the videos myself for voting. I started taking that opportunity and voting whenever those Academy things came. But you just need a little start, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend. If they can bring you to set, you never know what's going to happen, you know? Because for me, that's how I got into modeling, you know? Somebody brought me to a set. And then I was also found by an editor of a magazine, Source Hip Hop magazine, who said, hey, man, you want to fill in? And I was like, I don't know what you guys are into.
Yeah.
But eventually turned into something good. And, you know, that's why I'm here still. You know, 3 decades later,
Yeah.
I'm still doing it, you know?
I
My
know.
phone's still ringing.
That's nice.
Chanel is calling me to get on the show with her and Dom. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, I just saw that you were on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, I was on there last season.
You
Yeah.
killed it. And
thank you.
it's funny. I tell him all the time, I'm like, I want to do Dancing with Stars. He's like, babe, you need to stretch a little more.
Yeah, you definitely got to stretch
She'll
for
be
that
sitting
show.
on the couch and she's just
Wow.
like, oh, I pulled something.
Yeah, but we were just talking earlier about having Ariana as a friend that we all know.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, yo, Ariana got on the show and she killed it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys,
I know I
same.
would. I grew up
Yeah.
a dancer. I have to say that after
I know the number over there. I can slide your number to them. But I must warn you,
It's
is
a lot of work. No,
That's
I
what I
know.
It
hear.
is work.
But
yeah.
I think I would kill, especially for when it's like the ones where the couples dance together. I'm a tiny girl. I'm easy to lift. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes,
So like
the lifts are important.
I'm the one that can go fly. You know, I was a cheerleader. I was a flyer in cheerleading.
So that background right there is
Yeah.
going to help you because
Yeah.
we the season I was there, we had a girl that was a cheerleader, Charity.
Okay.
Charity Lawson. She was a cheerleader, and she went all the way to the finals.
Nice.
So cheerleaders do well on that show.
I did cheerleading. I did hip hop dance since I was actually like 7 years old. I did it my whole life. But I had a baby, and I will say my hips got a little bigger. And when my hips got a little bigger, they got a little tighter too. I was like, now we have to start stretching from the new size of the hips to get it re-stretched.
I would start stretching. So for
stretching now, man.
That's it. Start now. If you want to be on next year, start now.
No, literally. I've been doing a lot of yoga.
For me, I actually was running and training on the beach before I got to Dancing with the Stars because I knew it was going to be such an ordeal. So for me, I started running in the sand, getting ready. So for me, my cardio was on point when I got there. But it's just getting the dance steps. That's what's so tricky. The first few days when you're learning a dance, oh my God, it's so frustrating.
No, that's why.
Yeah, it's like snowboarding for the first time.
I want this challenge though, because like I grew up dancing by myself my whole life. So I'm like, I think the challenge for me would be like dancing with another person. Yes. That's where like I've never,
and as a male to lead you, oh, you're good.
Yeah.
I think the females do better because you have that male dancer who's a professional who's going to lead you.
Yeah.
Whereas you're just a guy coming off the street who's never really done ballroom. You got to learn that whole lead, how to hold the hands, and how.
Yeah.
Like my wrist was like, my wrist is like tired. My fingers were tired. It's my toes, everything. It was so much, but the experience, amazing. Amazing.
Did you have any background in dance before that?
I didn't have much background. I mean, I break dance. I danced at the club. I danced a little salsa being out and about. But to actually learn the steps and learn to move, that was different. Yeah. Ballroom is a different beast.
How does that rank like among your life experiences?
Man, I have to say it's in the top 10.
Really?
It definitely is. I mean, they chased me for so long to do the show. They chased me when there was no internet. So, now there was internet. And if I had to do it over, I probably would have done it earlier in my career instead of waiting towards, the end of my fashion career to do it. But yeah, it was such an experience.
Oh,
it
man,
really
I want to try. I'm like,
if they invite me to do it again, I would do it again.
If you want to pass me, pass me that number.
I'll hook you up. I'll even hint. Because they've already invited me to come and visit this season.
Oh, that's dope.
But I can't because I want to get out there and dance. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not coming. You're not letting me dance. I'm not coming.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. So I would say that, Dancing with the Stars, do you think that was one of the more difficult things that you've done in your career?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Because if you're a shy person and then all of a sudden you're dancing in front of the whole, nation. Yeah. And you're dancing in front of a packed room.
Is it live?
Some of them are, for us, on the East Coast, it's a live show.
Okay.
It's West Coast gets a tape show.
Got it.
You
so
mess up.
Pressure.
You mess up. It's a lot of pressure. And you got all these cameras, and then you have a room full of, people all the way to the top. And everyone's watching every single move.
Oh, that's nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking. And when I got eliminated, it was like, it was a good and a bad, because then the stress of it was gone.
Yeah.
But I missed it so much. There was days I was waking up after I was, eliminated, thinking, "Oh my God, I got to get to rehearsal," and I was like, "Oh, I got eliminated. I don't have rehearsal." It's like, damn.
Dang. Yeah, that's a good point, because in your mind you probably prepare for like the full thing.
In my mind I prepared to get to the finals, and then when I didn't get there, and I was just like, wow,
in your mind you're just like you're still like, I gotta wake up and go.
I'm more of an athlete than anything else, so for me it was like I got that competitive spirit, so I needed to compete.
So did you like play sports and
I played football, I played basketball, and I mean, I did everything playing it, but when I got on the organized team was just football. Wish I would have done soccer, because I was such a better soccer player than a football player, and now I'm like in my 50s and I'm like, man, I should have played soccer. I would have been on a.
I think it all worked out the way it's supposed to.
No, but he has these moments too, though, because he played football, and I personally think he's better at basketball.
Yeah.
And like martial arts and stuff.
Okay, and then baseball. I could have played baseball too. There were so many different sports. I mean, we're built a certain way, And that's probably why we got into the model business, because we can fit those demographics. You can put us in a suit. You can dress us up as an athlete.
Yep.
And, you know, I mean, it was such a great time to be a kid and to be able to pick all those sports, not knowing that later on in life, that bill that you earned from doing that was going to make you some money.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's so true that a lot of people don't even think about this when it comes to modeling.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not just about, obviously how you look matters, and that's a big part of it, but you have to fit the clothes.
Yeah,
that's
you
like
gotta
a
fit the
big part of
clothes.
it.
Yeah, and then a lot of guys, I see them, they're getting really big, and I'm like, dude, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, and I try to tell them, don't get too big, because when you start looking like a bodybuilder, that's not the world anymore.
Yeah.
So for me, coming in the 90s, I came in when that was the beefcake era, they called it. So we had the Marcus Schenkenberg.
My mom was obsessed with him. We had a book of him on our coffee table.
That's my guy. So
literally, I was like a 8-year-old girl, and there was like a naked man on a book on the coffee table,
that's
and I was like,
Marcus.
"Mom, my friends are
That's
coming
Marcus.
over," and she's like, "That's Marcus Schenkenberg.
That's
I love
it.
him."
Yeah. So we were like the beefier guys, and then to where we are today, I don't want to say they're skinny and not as masculine.
It's
but
like
In
No,
Europe, it's definitely gotten
It's
more.
very gaunt looking. I think it's a lot of runway looking people that are like
So now it's more the runway
almost like
guys.
Halloween looking.
Yeah, it's more the runway guys that are like thin and you know they're pretty much taking over all the editorial stuff. But it'll come back around. It always does.
Do you think it's
know?
crazy also to see now like mainstream models like fully tattooed and stuff?
Yeah.
Because it's like back in the
remember when I
day-
was doing it, like they used to cover my tattoos. They used to, you know, and then when people would meet me in the street, they were like, "Man, I didn't know you was inked up like that." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I got sleeves." And, you know, I would be in a suit and you could never tell. That was what was so cool about it back then. I mean, I remember there was this Japanese model by the name of Jenny Shimizu. She was also Madonna's girlfriend, and she was tatted up. And it was just like, it was so unheard of back then, you know, for us to be tatted. And then now it's normal.
That's
you
so
know?
interesting to me. It's like times change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious. What's like one of the coolest, you know, tables you've ever been at? You know, I feel like you've,
man.
because I know in this industry,
I remember being at a dinner at the not the Met Gala. It was in the Metropolitan Museum, and it was myself, the girlfriend I was dating at the time, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert De Niro. I'm sitting at this table with all these guys, and we're just having a normal conversation.
That's amazing.
You know, and the girl I was with was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!"
Like your stock shot up even higher.
My stock was up, and it was just like, you know, they were talking to me, and they were like, "Yo, when you coming? When you coming?" Basically, when am I coming into acting full time? And I was like, "Yo, I'm ready. I'm ready." You know. So it was just like, all right, let me create something that's going to be good for me. And over the years, when I left the model world, I started writing. I wrote this one thing about my life called Pretty Boy. So I wrote this story about my life, like how I left the streets and I got into the fashion industry, but I was in the fashion industry and I was getting pulled back into the street. And I was able to get with a writer, a guy by the name of Adam Targum. He did a show on I think it was on Cinemax or one of these shows. It was called Banshee. He wrote that, and it was like action-packed. And then I told him about my life, and he was like, "Yo, that is a story right there. We need to be producing that." We eventually ran around for like 2 years, and we finally got it signed.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
So you're working on that now?
I'm working on that now.
I love
it's
that.
called Pretty Boy. It's loosely based off my life coming out of the streets and into the industry. We're gonna go back and film we're gonna film 90s hip hop,
Love
R&B,
that.
fashion, lifestyle, the grunge, everything.
If you got a role for either of us, we'll be in it.
I know
He
you
could
in
be
there
one of the
somewhere.
models.
I'll play the young Tyson Beckford.
That's
in the
it.
movie.
That's it. We're gonna get you
You're
a
gonna
good
have to get a
tan,
little
boy.
darker
We're
for
gonna
that.
get you a good tan.
Dom's mixed. He doesn't look like it, but,
No, but
you know,
I know he's definitely.
he could get real dark in like 2 seconds.
That's
the
it.
hair, though,
we're
it's
going
not
to
gonna
the
work.
beach right after this. But yeah, no, I'm going to be hiring all my friends because I think that's the best way you get genuine people into genuine roles. You know, I don't want them to be like, oh, I studied, Shakespeare in London. No, I need guys who are familiar with the industry of modeling
Yep.
and, who actually looked back at the 90s and learned from it. I think that would be the great people to have them in sets and just say, hey guys, the motivation is this. And,
Yeah,
and watch them go to work. And I think that's what Pretty Boy is all about, and I'm going to be in it myself, but I'm going to play a bad guy. I'm going to play my arch nemesis. But I was able to find this actor out of London that I'm really hoping that we can land him. So I won't say his name yet, but I really pretty much have a half Jamaican crew on set, and I have a half American crew. So
Okay.
it's me dealing with life and going through the streets of New York, and so Pretty Boy is like my main focus right now. And then I have another project called Throttle, which is an action-packed, it's like Miami Vice meets Heat, meets
Okay.
Fast and Furious.
Love that.
It's about a black billionaire that lives here in Miami, ex-military, and he comes up with this, face recognition. It gets him in a little trouble, but yet still it has its good and its bad. So he's running around Miami, and he's got different friends who are club DJs, doormen, this and that, but these are skilled friends. They're all ex-military. They know what they're doing. They just pretend to be somebody else in the daytime. That's another project that we have in the pipeline now that we're taking production meetings on that one. And it's just, it's just a big change for me to go from being an actor and then going to being a model and then turning out being a supermodel and then going back to acting and now producing. I mean, it's just come full circle for me,
What do you think the better feeling would be? Like headlining a motion picture as the lead actor or producing this movie that's based on your life?
It's a TV series, but yeah, I think it's both actually. I loved headlining as one of the co-stars, and definitely producing it. That's such a big job because I've been on so many production meetings so far since we've got this thing started, and it's like I can do this.
Yeah.
Like sitting here and saying this and that, and then behind the scenes calling this person and that person and setting up, oh, I need you for this, I need you for that, and running around just kind of putting it all together, and then go back to that production meeting, and then when they bring it up, they're like, yeah, we need to get in touch. Oh, yeah, I've already done. And they're like, what? You did all this already? I'm like, this is my baby. This is my project. I have to make sure that Pretty Boy hits as hard as I think it will.
Oh, I mean,
I
it's
think
your
it's going to be
story.
hot, but I think it's going to be even better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that like people don't know. Like, there was a time when in 2 different decades where I got indicted with the feds.
No way.
And yeah. I was with a drug cartel when I was like 17 in high school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they were called the Shower Posse.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can Google them. They're very gangster. So I was with them when I was in high school. And then when I was with Ralph Lauren and all these big, modeling people, I was also caught up with this crew out of New York called Sex Money Murder, which was a Bloods gang, pulled into the district attorney's, U.S. district attorney's office for questioning, and I had to bring my lawyer with me, and it was just like they had a snitch that they had caught, and he gave them my name as a co-conspirator, as the financier for all of this, and it was just like I was making crazy money back then with Ralph. They had to question me because they wanted to know all these different things. So after beating all of that, it was just like I walked out of there, me and my lawyer, and I was just like, yo, I got to write a movie or a TV series about this. And one thing he said was, you better do it, because I've never had a client that was on billboards who was thrown into such a questioning.
No, to be like modeling for Ralph Lauren, like this classy brand, and then it's like, oh shoot, like I gotta go deal with this like gang shit real quick.
I gotta deal with this gang shit. And this went on for a while. I mean, I know I was being watched, and it was just crazy, and the head guy of the gang was, he got arrested. He's in federal. I don't think he's in federal. I think he's in state now, but they've got him on so many charges, he's never going to get out. And I reached out to him and said, yo, we got to write your story. I don't want we're going to have to change some names.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing in Pretty Boy. I changed a bunch of names in that. I'm not using anyone's real name in that, but except for like a few people. But I was saying to him, like, yo, you got to let me produce it.
Yeah.
Because I told him I got mine coming.
Yep.
You're going to love mine, and mine kind of interacts with yours.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so much content in real life stuff that you can turn into these TV series. I mean, if you look at like Raising Kanan by 50 Cent, those are stories taken from his life and his upbringing. And they were such a hit for Starz Network. And, you know, I was just like, yo, I need to write about mine. And everybody that I know that knows me was like, yo, you got to write about yours.
No,
bro.
I love it already. First of all, the title is amazing. Pretty Boy.
Thank you.
It's going to get...
That was my nickname growing up. They called me Pretty Boy. I don't know if you got it too. Yeah, there you go. So it's gonna really relate to a lot of people.
He can, I already know Dom like can relate to...
Yeah.
He wasn't fully like up in the blood gang and all that.
But I can already tell that Dom didn't take no shit from nobody. He called him a certain word and he might fuck your ass up.
Yeah.
You know?
No, exactly.
No, how pivotal do you think your career was for steering you away from getting into trouble?
I think it was more so, I had an older brother who had passed away. He got killed in the street. And, you know, one of the things he said to me before, I saw him 2-3 days before he got killed, and he was like, yo, get the fuck out the street. He was like, the street kill you. You're either going to end up dead or locked up. Get out. He's like, yo, he was able to see one of my photo shoots in a magazine, and he was like, yo, this is for you, bro. The acting, the modeling, it's always been what you needed to do as a kid. From when I was 6, I knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And my parents thought I was crazy. Oh, I want to be an actor. I want to do this. I want to do that. Ah, this kid is crazy.
Yeah.
He's 6 years old and he's predicted this. But it's the same thing I say to you about your kid. If your kid says it, let them run with it, because that's what I did with myself. So for me, I knew automatically then, and then my brothers and my sisters saw it too. And before he got killed, that was the first thing he said. He said, yo, get out this street game and get into the industry, because that's where you're gonna make it big. And he never lied, you know? And to this day, I remember his words as if I'm sitting here with you two.
Yeah.
And I think that's my inspiration, that's my drive. And, you know, watching all this stuff succeed and come out, and you know, and writing it and watching it all come together, getting the deal, and you think about all the people that are going to work because of this. You know, you're like, man, this is big.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a little dream I had. Little Jamaican kid from Jamaica comes to America, makes it as a supermodel. Get out! Who would have told me that I would be like this good-looking guy? Which I had nothing to do with the looks, people. That's mom and dad. All I did was go to the gym, work out, and live a life as a kid, and you know, play outside and ride bikes, and you know, and I just think all of that just came full circle, you know. And that's why I'm here, and I'm sitting here with you two.
Yeah, no,
and,
that's dope.
you know.
I'm so happy that you're making the movie about your life. I want to make one about my life too, but you know, it's funny.
TV series,
yes. So, and I think it should be the same, because it's like, you know, especially when
I mean, write it. I mean, people write autobiographies all the time. Do it.
I'm
because
starting.
You got to think that this is not an average life.
No, my life has been crazy too.
Yeah,
like
this sitting in front of these cameras, and this is not average.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen for everybody.
Yeah.
And we're fools if we don't take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Because this is rare. There's people out here probably watching us right now who want to be where we are. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what it takes. But if you do your research, you can get here. You know, I don't want to sound preachy, but you can do whatever you want. You can get here if that's what you want to do.
For real.
Know?
No, that's what's cool about today's like era, is the information is out there. If you're willing to look hard, and
people are so lazy they don't want to do the look, and they don't want to do the work.
You can literally learn everything on YouTube.
Yeah, you sure can.
Everything.
And I used to always tell people, oh, I want to get in the industry. I want to get in the music industry. And I was like, yo, if you flip over the back of the CD, the address for the label is right there.
I love that you said that.
And I was just like, yo.
I was 17 years old going, I'm not even joking, I was 17 years old going through the
the credits,
through
the
the
lyrics.
50 Cent G Unit CD, and I was like, okay, how do I contact? I need to go bring them my demo CD, and I was like looking up addresses and names, and I would go. This is back when MySpace was a thing, and I would go on MySpace and I would look up these people's names and
now
add
these
them.
people are on LinkedIn and everything.
Yeah.
You understood that, and there was so many people that I told them about that. They looked at me like I was a three-headed monster, like I didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I was like, it's right there. Duh. Yeah.
That's so funny. No, but like that's a hustler's mentality. And
Yes.
not everybody has that.
Not everybody has
And it's funny because some people can be very smart and book smart, but they don't have
they
that.
lack the common.
They lack that, you know, where I feel like I was a very book smart kid too. I always got good grades, but I always wanted to just work and make money.
Me too.
And I felt like I used my street smarts and my common sense. And
that's the difference. Street.
Yeah.
Street, I don't care what people say. Street helps you every single time because street smarts will say to you, yo, don't go down that street. I'm going to go this street. You know, mind my business.
Yeah.
But yeah, street smart helps a lot. And being also just hustler mentality, being smart and just having people around you that believe in you. And for me, for a long time, I didn't have people that believed in me.
Same.
I had to go outside the house to get those people.
We can all relate on that level so much because like I grew up in LA and in LA especially it's you know it's Hollywood. It's like everybody's an actor, everybody's a singer and dancer.
Oh my God. You go to the gas station,
literally,
the guy behind the counter, hey, take my 8x10.
Yeah, it's so competitive. All your friends want to do the same thing as you there. Whereas you come from a small town maybe and you're the one person who's like willing to go for that dream and everybody else is like, oh, I'm gonna root for you. But in LA, more people are willing to go for that dream because they know Hollywood's around the corner and it's more attainable there. So you have more competition.
You also got to watch these people who want to just suck from you, you know, and that's one of the reasons I can't live in LA.
No,
people
I know.
come around me all the time. Hey man, what are you doing today? Yeah, I'm about to go to Ralph's. I'm going to get me some. I gotta get me some rice milk. I gotta get me some cereal, and you know. So it's tough, LA. I don't know how you do it, but I can respect
I don't know
it.
either.
Yeah.
She talks about leaving all the time.
I want to leave so bad.
Come on, let's go.
It's hard though. I mean,
because now LA is not LA anymore. Hollywood now is in Atlanta. Hollywood can be in New York. It can be in Louisiana. It can be in Chicago. It's everywhere now. You know, it's everywhere where the camera is. Yeah. So yeah, it's not a place anymore like it used to be. You know, and then when you look at LA now, you go there and you know, God forbid, you see these homeless people now and how they've taken over. And you know, we did that to ourselves. We didn't help who were around us that we should have helped. You know, and the city would still be prosperous and doing well, but they were so caught up in whatever they were doing, they didn't pay attention to the everyday people that needed help.
No, I know it is. It's sad to see because it's like, I mean, my name's Chanel West Coast. It's like I love the city. I love California.
We can't call you Chanel Miami,
right?
No,
you know, like it's like that. I'm like, this is part of my brand now. That is, and so that's why I think it'll
come back.
More.
It'll come back. We just need to help it.
Yeah,
you know, the people that are there now need to help it instead of stepping over the people. You know, you pick them up. Yeah. Don't step over.
Well, I heard that apparently the city's going to get a lot cleaner and better because the Olympics are going to come back there in a couple years.
Got to. But it's almost like, are you going to sweep it all under the rug or tuck it away somewhere and then ignore it? And then when the Olympics is over, you bring it comes back again?
That seems easier.
Yeah.
This might be a good thing for LA, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a good thing for LA.
But I think that Miami, though, I do feel what you're saying. It's a lot more relaxed here. You know,
I can't wear this shirt anywhere else. What are you talking about? I show up in LA with this shirt with these boots on, white jeans.
Even his Versace shirt. People are like,
where are you from?
No, it's
we're fitting. We fit.
No, the second that we knew we were coming to our condo here, we're like, everything we have Versace is coming with us.
We're like, that's where you wear Versace.
You gotta live the life. I mean, this is Miami. Gold chain, shirt, you know. Crazy shoes.
Yeah. No, I love it.
This used to be an alligator somewhere. Probably
here in Florida.
Could be. They're everywhere. Just pick one up. Hey, come here. I need some boots.
Wait, so have you lived anywhere besides New York and Miami?
I lived in London for 2 years when I was working on Britain and Ireland's Next Top Model. That was fun. You know, I could see myself living there and working because I was working for BBC and them over there. But it's definitely different living overseas. Yeah. You know, you miss home, but there's this excitement to be doing something different.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I heard that London is a bit cold. And they don't have the
cold
best
and rainy.
food. I heard they don't have the best food. I
Well,
heard,
now they have bringing all these different places, you know, different people from different cultures. But the British food itself is not the best.
That's
it's
what I
bland,
heard.
Very.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
Where?
Nashville.
Nashville, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been a few times.
How you like it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I got a friend who lives there. I don't know if you're familiar with him, a model by the name of Corey Bond.
No, I haven't.
You
met him.
guys got similar eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Corey's from little after my era. He lives there. And him and his wife and his kid. He's now transitioning into theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's so good to see him doing it because he's really good. And I was like, wow. I just saw him in this play recently. And I was damn, bro, I didn't know he had chops like that. So for me, it's like great seeing some of your friends having a life after fashion.
Have you
know?
ever done theater?
Yes, I've done theater. I've done some off-Broadway stuff. That was fun. I like theater. Every day showing up and constantly doing, it seems like it's the same thing, but it's so different because you can play on the words. You can, you know, you can go deliver it a little different every different time. But yeah, theater is serious, man. I have so much respect for it. You know?
That is cool about theater is like when you go see a play with like really good actors, it's like it's the same play, but it's really a different experience each time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
know?
can go see it. Like you can see like think about Cats for how long it ran and the different people that came in and played it. It's always different every time when there's someone else playing the role because it's that person's vision of what they think it is or how they see it, and it's really nice to see it. You know,
What's your dream role as an actor? What could you see? Like, what do you feel like your thing is?
One of my dream roles is definitely an action hero. I've always I grew up watching like Schwarzenegger and all these different action heroes. And for me, like, you know, the 80s, 90s action hero was like it. And then, you know, being a big James Bond fan, I just, you know, when I sit down and write stuff and I write it like, what if I was a James Bond kind of guy? And, you know, so I kind of like to write stuff like that. And then, you know, trying to find a perfect role. I don't know if it exists, but I'm damn sure going to try to figure it out. You know,
They're still looking for a new James Bond, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they still are. I don't do.
Have they had a black guy be James Bond yet?
Hey,
Not yet.
Okay,
But
this
I
is the
heard they
time.
were
I feel like you're like
talking
the
about-
perfect person to be the black guy James Bond.
I would love to do that. You know
Like,
what I mean? If
straight
they
up.
called me and he could have like a, you know, an American English accent, I could probably pull it off. But I don't know if I could do the full English accent.
Really?
Oh, really?
You know, I meet so many English actors that come over here and they do such a great American accent. I think our accent is probably the easiest accent to figure out.
American accent?
Yeah, American
Wait, so
accent.
can I ask you this? Did you have a Jamaican accent as a kid?
I had a Jamaican accent as a kid.
How
I mean,
did
I
you
can
lose
turn
it?
it on and off. Yeah, when Jason is here, he's the guy who works here. I can talk to him. You know, for me and him, we go, yo, walk on, Jason. You know, my day, mama, I'll just do my thing, yeah. And then people be like,
Because
know.
you talk so American that you would never think there was like
and
a
that's
hidden
the
accent.
same thing with the British. They do the same thing to us. And then like, I'm like watching guys on TV and then I see them in the interview and I was like, oh, he's British.
Okay, do you also feel, you guys, I know you feel me on this, when British people sing and they sound American. I don't get it. Why do you not have an accent when you sing?
Yeah, listen to Adele. Like, she doesn't
She's
have a...
American when she sings. And then I think to
What?
myself, why don't you just talk like us then if you're going to sing like that?
The British.
It's like that's a thought I
complex
have all
people,
the
the
time.
British.
There's few British people who sound British while they sing, but a lot of them, they'll sing and they just sound like American. And then you hear them talk and you're like,
for me, I always had a girlfriend that was either British, Australian, or Jamaican, you know, or Latino.
You like
So-
foreign ladies.
Yeah, I mean, I attract the foreign ladies. I mean, the American girls are like, psh, girl, he's just American. He ain't nobody. I get the foreign girls all the time. So for me, like living in London for those 2 years, it was amazing for me because I was surrounded by so many. But if you live somewhere long enough, you start to sound like them too. So when I come home from being over there, people were like, did you just say something like a British accent? I was like, oh, mate, I don't know if I really did, mate. You know, and then there's the Australian accent comes out too. When you're there in Australia, you're like, hey, good day, mate.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, And then the way they say my name is like, Tyson. You're like, oh, shit. You start to pick up different things. For me, traveling the world, you start to pick up different people's accents.
Yeah, I'm like that too a little bit. Like if I'm in New York for like a week, I'll start talking a little bit more like a New Yorker.
Yeah, you talk like a New Yorker.
You know, and then you're just...
Yeah, when I go home, yo, what's up, bro? What's going on? You know, you start talking like a New Yorker.
It's so weird. I'm like, so I feel like if I were to live in London, next thing you know, I'd come...
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, the British accent is good.
Best British accent.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Chelsea Dudley. That's my real name. It's a very British name, and I like to drink my tea with some crumpets.
Who are you? See, look at that. That's good.
Thank you. You know, it's in my roots. It's in my roots. I have English in my blood.
I talked to somebody. My manager is British. My
really?
friends in London are British. I speak to them all the time, so I'm surrounded by it.
Yeah,
you know, and I love it, and I was just like, I just sit there and I listen to them. They could be talking about nonsense, but I just be like,
that's what I say all the time. Now, I've told him this. I'm like, British people can get away with anything. They can be totally bullshitting.
Oh my God.
And
in
the
LA,
accent makes them sound like they're like legit, you know?
Yeah, when I tell my manager, just call them. Because I know if he calls them, they'll just be like, wow, okay, well, yeah.
Something about that British accent.
Oh, they do very well in Hollywood.
Yep.
They do very well in Hollywood, yeah.
You could be the biggest scammer in the world.
That's it, yeah.
As long as you have a British accent.
It just sounds proper. Yeah, it just sounds proper. You're like, all right, here's my money.
Right.
Here's my money.
No,
so here's what we're going to do. You're going to give me $1 million now, and then tomorrow I'll give you $2 million.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, I'm telling you, one time I was doing some gigs in the beginning of my career, doing like these club gigs, because I do music too, and so I get a lot of these like club hosting gigs, and so I had this one British guy who would book me all the time, and he was a little bit of like a scammer himself, and so I literally, like, in the contract it was like, I will not take a flight if it's more than one change of a flight. Now I'm like, it has to be direct, you know, but back then we were still like being a little bit more humble. I was like, no, I'm not gonna change more than once. He got me a couple flights where I had to change like 2 or 3 times, and so he like kept doing it, and then like one day on the call, I was like extra just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I said, listen, buddy. I was like, your British accent doesn't fool me. I was like, you are full of shit. And I was like, save it for somebody else. I said, is that accent even real? And that's, I had to go off because I feel like they know that they sound so proper that they can almost get away with anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's kind of annoying. I'm like, dude.
I mean, my manager gets endorsed, and I'm like, damn, how'd you get?
It's because he's British.
Yeah. You know, LA people are like, oh my God, the British. Yes.
You got a nice posh accent.
They love that.
You can make a lot happen with a posh accent.
You really could. Really can. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, just being here now, like, I think we, in this time, this era, it's a good thing. You know, it's a beautiful thing because we have so many streams of outlets that can help you propel yourself to where you want to be. You know, and I tell people all the time, like, if we had this in the 90s, forget about it. You couldn't,
I know.
You know, you couldn't stop
Oh my God,
us.
if I had TikTok as a kid, I would have been famous at 10. What? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I would have already retired by now. I'm like, I just saw an article about a little girl who like blew up on YouTube, and she's already like retired, made like 30.
She's like 12.
Yeah, she made like 30 million or something off of like one of these like toy YouTubes or something.
Exactly, yeah, because they got all these little YouTubes now of kids opening toys. Go figure. If you'd have told me that 20 years ago, well, we're gonna film you opening these toys. What else I'm gonna do with it? You're gonna play with the toys. I was like, okay, that sounds like a porn, but okay.
But I think that's the problem with it too, though, is it's because it is so simple, and some people are so wildly successful with it that people are like, everyone thinks they can do it.
Simplicity is the best. Simplicity is really the best.
But it's like,
when
what
you
happens?
overcomplicate things, I think that's when you lose the audience.
See,
keep it simple.
Here's my thing.
What they say, the old saying of keep it simple, stupid.
Exactly.
But here's the problem, though, is what happens when you have 1 million people that all see how simple it is, and they all think they can do it. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what happens then? I feel like we have a whole generation of people that want to be influencers.
We started doing it, and now everybody thinks they're a model. I mean, come on. There's a whole platform called Instagram where there's people thinking they're models.
Even me, I'm not gonna lie, I got away with a little bit. People would be like, call me a model, because I photograph super tall, and I'm like, little do they know I'm 5'2" in real life. I'm like, I say I'm 5'3" on my ID, but I'm like, the funniest though is like, I'm an artist, you know, so as a performer, as a musician, you take a lot of photo shoots for single covers, album covers, flyers for gigs, you know? And so I'd take all these pictures and sometimes people wouldn't know like why I'm doing it. So they're like, oh, you're a model. And I'm like, no, but I love that on Instagram I can get away with coming off as one.
That's it. I mean, there's so many things you can get away with on there. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's
you
just
can live a whole fake life on Instagram.
It's crazy. You know, it's crazy to think that we're here.
That could be a show, like a show. It's like, are they like a
documentary,
a documentary on just like Instagram models. It's like
yeah,
I don't know.
wouldn't mind producing something like that.
Right?
I'd follow them around and see what they're doing. Like,
We're on to something.
all right, show us that you're a model.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you shooting today?
like being
That's it.
an influencer, being, you know, an
Right.
Instagram model. What's that life like?
All you need is a cell phone and a way to post it or put it up there for people to see. That's it.
And what's
You
crazy
know?
though is there's still some people in the world who are too lazy to do that. And that's why when I see people making it on social media, I'm like, hey, like you can't hate. This person took the initiative to go out and do stuff to get your attention. It's not, they didn't just end up here at
and it's not as easy as we think it looks when we see the finished product. I mean, you got to watch behind the scenes. I worked with, when I was on Dancing with the Stars, they had these girls that were the social media team, and the work that they would put in to do the things. I'm like, okay, I can respect that.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely something that some people are really, really good at. You know?
Creating content is like a full-time job.
It really is.
It's
You gotta
insane.
get up in the morning. Like for me, I gotta get up. I gotta check my Instagram. I'm like, oh God.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're
much
editing
work.
it
It's a
yourself
lot.
too, that's like a whole nother level. You
Like
know?
now, I got friends who are like on YouTube and on Instagram. They send it to somebody else to get
Nice.
edited.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, where's this? I needed that. I'm sitting here trying to cut and splice my damn self.
Yeah,
like,
same.
yeah, this is not coming
You know,
out
well,
good.
we have like some video editor people that help us with stuff, and but it's like even, you know, like even my video guy the other day, I told you my video guy Ghost, I was like, oh man, I wish you were out here today. He said, Chanel, just have Dom film it for you on the iPhone in 4K, and then he's like, we could
and then
splice it in
and
with
then
the other
spli-
footage,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like when your video guy is even telling you, hey, you could just film this on your phone, like you know, it's gotten to a point where it's like,
because we got like, the technology on these things have gotten so good that we can do it.
dude, the app, what is it, CapCut? CapCut makes me feel like I'm over here like, yo, I'm making a music video.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like, look at me, you know. And I am not tech savvy like that on a phone.
Same. I'm not very tech savvy at all.
When it comes to anything else, I'm good.
Yeah.
But phones, forget it. Man, what do you do here?
Do you think that also comes with being like, you know, I think that being a supermodel in the era that you came up, it's like, I think that was also a time when it's very like, I imagine you had like a lot of people like helping you, and like, you know, you're on set and it's like, oh, like Tyson, do you need this? Do you need this?
Yeah, no,
and
there was a lot of that. And I kind of was just like, I'll do it myself. I wanted some tea. I'm going to go get it myself,
Yeah.
you know? It wasn't never really one who would like, oh yeah, bring me some tea, bring me this. I kind of like
that's dope.
I'm blue collar.
You're more hands-on. I'm the same.
I'm hands-on. I'm a blue collar kid from a blue collar family.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, grow up with a silver spoon. So for me, it was like, all right, the tea's right there. I'll go make it myself, you know? But I do get why some people are like that. I mean, I was on sets with like everybody and anybody who was a supermodel back then, working with Naomi, you know, hanging out with Kate Moss and all these different, you know, they were all like big sisters for me, you know, and just watching them do it, I was just like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be done, because nobody gave me a handbook on how to be a male model. There was, you know, I had other friends who were doing it at the same time, like Marcus Schenkenberg, he was ahead of me by a few years. Alex Lindquist and all these other big name guys, they were all a little bit ahead of me. I just watched what they did, you know, and then I was like, all right, let me incorporate myself.
Yeah.
You know, and again, that was it. There's no, you know, handsome school of modeling.
I was just
book
about to say, like, that is kind of a trip about it. Is like, there's really no school for this. There's
there's no book.
Like, you gotta just figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, you gotta
kind of
figure it
have to
out on the
hope
fly.
that you figure it out like in time almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like you're there and you gotta pick it up.
And I don't think we were calling each other like, hey man, I gotta shoot with this guy right now. What do I do? You know, it's never been like that, you know. But where is it any other industry? You know, if it's music, if it's movies, you talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and modeling, they just throw you in there. Yeah. All right, well, put on that underwear and stand in front of him, and then she's gonna put some oil and makeup on you. Go ahead.
No, and I think
and that's it.
It could be. It's funny. It's like it has to be a little nerve-wracking too. Like people are like, oh, it must be so easy to just be hot in your underwear, but it's like you're in your underwear.
Right.
Like it's not even like it's a bathing suit.
The most insecure outfit that you could possibly put on next to being naked.
I already know that we have a few neighbors that definitely like, what is going on down there? Because he'll have to take, what do you call them? Your
like digitals and
digitals.
stuff.
And he'll be like, babe, come take some digitals for me in the backyard so we can get like natural light. And he's like in his underwear in the backyard. And I'm like, we live in like the hills. So I'm like, the neighbors are definitely looking like, what is going on over there?
She's shooting a porn. Yeah, porn going on over there.
They definitely think that's what we're doing because I'm over here shooting pics of this guy naked in the backyard.
Every so often, I have to do the same thing. And I'm like, oh, God, who am I going to get? So then I got me a tripod, and I just put the timer on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's technology for us.
You know what I just thought about when you were talking about the models and like Kate Moss and Naomi? I thought about too, I'm like, you know, Kate Moss has a daughter who I believe is modeling now. You said your son's modeling now. I know Cindy Crawford's daughter. I think there's got to be some sort of like model link up with all the kid models of you guys.
That would be so great.
Dude, that could be a show too.
To get together.
That could be a show too.
That could be a nice reality show.
You know what? We'll talk about that after this.
Yeah. Maybe we
I have
hunt down some of these people.
I have a first look deal right now with Paramount, so I've been developing ideas. Both Dom and I, we've been developing ideas to pitch to them, and I'm like, that could be a good show.
See, I knew I was on here for a reason.
No, like, don't you see that?
No, I'm serious.
I see all of the parents dropping off the kids.
Just let me come on as an executive producer,
right?
And
like
then
all
I'll
of
go
you guys,
get all these kids.
Imagine you, Kate Moss, like Cindy Crawford, like all these people, and you guys like pull up in your like fancy cars and like, all right, and you drop off, and it's like the model mansion, and you drop off your kids to go to the model mansion, and then they're in like a competition show, and it's like, and the parents are somehow involved too. Dude, there's something there.
Yeah, because they got a call for advice.
Yeah.
So Dad, I got an underwear shoot with Cindy Crawford's daughter. What I do? Hey, be cool, baby boy. Be cool. You know?
Yeah, hearing
be
that.
a gentleman the whole time.
Yeah,
That's
hearing that advice, though, I think that people would love to see that.
I think it'd be great. And then having us on set once in a while, that'd be kind of cool.
Right?
Too. That's a good idea.
I think it is.
About that?
I already have a name, but I'm not going to say it because somebody might steal it.
Because you know they will.
I think this is a good idea. We'll talk about it later.
Let's talk about it off camera.
First, you got to focus on Pretty
What really
Boy.
happens off camera. Yeah.
I think I was going to say, though, I think because like we were talking about how social media's changed everything, like there's so much oversaturation with everything. And I feel like, you know, generational success, I feel like is almost going to mean even more nowadays because sometimes that's what can make you stand out. Oh, you're Kate Moss's daughter?
Really,
All right, book her.
Yeah.
You know, it's like sometimes.
And I think that's what's happening with a lot of these industry kids nowadays. Their parents are helping them, regardless if they know it or not, they're helping them, you know, get jobs because of their parents' success.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously you as a producer or, you know, a showrunner, whatever you're doing, you want that energy. You're like, oh my God, people are going to watch because this person's kid. So yeah, I think it works for a lot of people. I mean, look at LeBron James and what he's doing with his kid. I mean, come on, people
every single day we learn. It's like we see an actor in a show and like, oh, like I like him. He's cool. Yeah. A week later, oh, he's this person's niece.
You
know,
or this person's
nephew.
I mean, look at Denzel's kid right now. He's killing it. And then Ice Cube's kid as well.
I went to school with Ice Cube's sons.
Did you?
I remember in middle school, I just told him the story. Like Ice Cube would come to drop off his son Daryl, and like there would be like little girls like, oh my God, that was Ice Cube, and they're like freaking out, and I'm like, that must be such an awkward thing for his kids. But it's funny. I went to school with Ice Cube's kids. Eazy-E's kids. A bunch of the rappers' kids went to school with me, which is kind of funny.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like, seems like everyone you see nowadays is like, they're connected to someone somehow.
You know?
I
mean, my kid went to school with Nate Dogg's kid. He went to school with Lil Jon's kid.
I know Lil Jon and his son, too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was so great. And I'll call Lil Jon like, hello, John. What are you doing? He'd be like, nothing, pretty much just dropped the kid off at school. Yes, I know. I saw you.
You met Nate Dogg, right?
Yeah. I worked with him on on the 50 Cent 21 Questions. And I've known Nate. I knew him forever before all of that.
Oh
too,
man,
so
rest in peace, Nate Dogg. Dude, all of those hits.
What a legend, man.
He was pretty young when he passed away.
Yeah,
right?
he did. Yeah.
That's too bad.
Nate Dogg's really, I mean, he's a legend, but like a West Coast legend.
Yes,
for
a West
real.
Coast
like
legend.
all of the
His voice
biggest
is
West
insane.
Coast
And just such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. Really.
Hey.
That's dope. You really worked with a lot of legendary
I hung out
people.
with a lot of. I used to smoke weed with dog pounds. So shit.
I've done that before too.
Yeah.
Dude,
I thought I was gonna die.
No, literally.
I died and I got back up and started smoking again.
When you
like,
first
shit.
smoked with Snoop, the first time I smoked with Snoop, I'm not joking, you guys. There was a moment I'm in the studio, my eyes like they were like crusted shut.
Yeah,
They were literally like I couldn't open them. I had
I've
to be
been
like,
there with Snoop. Yeah, it'd be like,
like I literally had to be like,
he's like, here, nephew, have some of this. I'm like, shit, I can handle this. You literally die and you get back up and start smoking again. Nothing.
dude, him and Wiz.
Yes,
so much.
I haven't smoked with Wiz yet, but it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
You know,
It's the
it
same.
happens.
It's the same.
So we here in Florida now have that on our bill to make it recreational. So
Yeah, what's the deal with that here?
We're going yes.
Because I heard that it's kind of legal, but then like it's not real weed.
They're not really going after you, but you see these little weed vans riding around.
Yeah.
And the weed that they're selling, don't let them tell you it's not real. It's real. I don't care what they're telling you. That shit is real. Like you roll up to this van, you be like, yo, let me get a nickel and a dime. And, it's real shit, So it's weird right now. We're in like a weird state. I think that all of the U.S. eventually is just going to legalize it.
Yeah.
I mean, because if they can find a way to profit off of it, why not? And then you keep the bad weed out and you also keep it away from kids, because now that they're putting them in these like fancy little kid bags and kids are like, oh my God, and starting to eat edibles. And, that's the only downfall of it. We just need to make sure that we as adults keep it away from kids.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern with it is this isn't the same stuff as like the 70s. It's like it's getting so strong to the point where
super strong.
You can have a freaking psychotic episode if you don't understand.
You be like, man, my heart. I can hear my heart. I gotta go to the hospital.
Like they're making like 40% THC nowadays.
That's it.
And
it's
like
crazy.
If
and
you're
then,
not,
obviously it should be the same thing. You can't operate a vehicle and those things. You shouldn't, I mean, just put the warning labels on things and let them know that, you can't go to jail for being too high and driving.
Yeah.
I
think though that like, it's crazy to me. It always has been that it's like alcohol is legal. It's like such a social thing. And it's like after 2 drinks, even you could be somebody that's below the legal limit, but you might not handle alcohol as well and get in a car accident.
You get in the car, exactly.
And I have to say,
I personally don't drink anymore.
Oh, yeah?
I used to, but I'd rather smoke now than drink.
Was that just like a health thing?
Yeah, I don't know if it was a health thing, but I just was never one who enjoyed the taste of it.
Oh, okay.
And I never liked the feeling of being out of control. So for me, it's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because, I ride a motorcycle, I drive a car.
Yeah.
If I can get there and get back safely, I want to do that all day, But I never had, like, when I was drinking, I never had a problem getting in a cab. When I was in L.A., people were like, what are you taking a cab for? I was just drinking. Yeah. And people in L.A. were like, nah, I'm driving. I'm like, that's crazy.
That's the craziest thing about L.A. is I hate to say it, it's a drinking and driving culture there.
Oh, it is?
Because it's so spread out. Nobody wants to pay for a $150 Uber to go 30 minutes away.
Before I go to court. I do that before I go to court.
All the broke people, all the cheap people.
No, I hear you.
But,
for me, it was just like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's a much more common thing, But I also think though, and this isn't a good thing to say, but like we kind of talked about this recently, is like, like I have friends who grew up in Texas and they'd be like, oh, like I knew like 3 kids in high school who died from drunk driving. And I'm like, but that's because in Texas, they were driving on these open roads where they think they can race. Growing up in LA, there's a cop on every corner. So you could literally be drunk driving and you're driving better than you do sober because you're like, you're just watching,
scared.
you're watching out so much. So I hate to say it in a weird way. There's actually, I think, less drunk driving accidents, even though there's more drunk driving in LA
you're
because people are just more on the caution.
Yeah.
Whereas in these open road states, you see a lot more of these accident stuff because people are like, oh, there ain't a cop for miles. I can speed.
Yeah, I can speed.
Next thing you know, they're hitting a freaking cow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or something happens,
So
run over an armadillo or something crazy. Shit happens.
Or a deer comes across.
Yeah, that happens.
That'll tear your shit up.
Well, that happens in LA too. My friend Danielle hit a deer, sadly. She had one of those little Scion cars, those little square boxes.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Scion.
Dude, she was driving on Mulholland Drive at night and hit a deer.
Up there.
And
they're
her
up there.
whole car got crunched. Like,
people don't understand a deer will straight cave your whole car.
Deer will mess your shit up. Mess your shit
what
up.
about out here? Like, it's like, do you...
Gators.
Gators is all, right?
Yeah.
You got to watch out for him. He's like, I don't care. I got them on my boots.
It's like I ran this one over last week.
That's it, man. That's over. But yeah, we got deer. I mean, we don't have like deer like out in these populated areas, but we have deer here. We have alligator. We have iguana, and some of our iguanas get like they get huge.
Yeah, they're scary.
And then
I
you
think
see them
iguanas are
like
cool.
if you take the turnpike up north, you see them on the side of the turnpike just hanging out.
I love how you said just
And they're
hanging
like,
out.
yo, they're just there. And they're watching the cars go by because people have been known to throw food out of the cars. They're sitting there and they're eating, and this is the worst thing we could have ever done was bring them into the country.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
remember, they're not from here.
they're
They're
not
from South
native.
America. People brought them here back in the 90s as pets. You would go to South Beach, someone would have one around their neck, and then they would let them go when they got too big. So these things got populated. Same with Burmese pythons.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're
They got,
invasive too, right?
they're like you might have one in your backyard or find one in your toilet. That's how crazy they
hell
are.
no.
I have this iguana in my
your
backyard,
toilet?
like from his head to his hind legs are like he's like this big.
He
not
just lives
counting
there?
his tail. Yeah, he just sits in the tree, and every time I look at him, I yell, "I'm gonna get my gun," and then like I'll step off and he'll be gone. I don't know if he can read lips, but he takes off. And then he's got a girlfriend. She's a little smaller, but she's there. And just like, I haven't seen him in a while. So I was asking the neighbors, you seen the big iguana? They said, I don't know. I think he died. I haven't seen him.
Aw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long they live, but.
I heard they live long.
Yeah, they're giant.
He
they're
might have
baby-
moved.
They're baby dinosaurs.
He might have moved to a
he
new
might have
backyard.
found
He's
another
like,
backyard.
he's like, I'm
He's
going
like, I'll
somewhere.
break it up with her. I got another one over
Yeah,
here.
he's like, I'm gonna go somewhere where they're not threatening to shoot me every day.
Exactly, right? I don't need all of this, Mr. Beckford. I'm
can-
out of here.
I can
But-
take an iguana. I don't like the snakes though. That's
Oh,
a little
hell
too
Yeah, I don't.
creepy
I
for
mean,
me.
for me, I don't care for either
But
one of
snake,
them.
there's
but
a lot of snakes out here, right? Like,
yeah. We got a lot of snakes, and again, when these snakes hatch, hundreds.
Is there
Hundreds.
alligators and stuff like that in Jamaica?
Yeah, we got alligators, and we also have crocodiles in Jamaica. So we
Oh,
have
there is that stuff.
now Florida has crocodiles and alligators. Don't get me to telling you a story how they got here. I think a lot of times from the storms, they end up here.
Yeah.
Because South America and the Caribbean is not far away, and you'll see them swimming on South Beach and stuff like that.
No
Yeah.
way. I thought alligators and
Yeah.
crocodiles can't go in salt water.
Well, they adapted.
Yeah,
It's now
some
like
of 'em.
we have sharks now who can go into the bay, which is a little bit more fresh water than salt, and they're everywhere now. So you gotta look before you jump in.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So if you have a friend who has a pier in the back of their yard, don't just jump in. You gotta look before you jump in because they're everywhere.
But see, I don't even know if I'm gonna jump in
Yeah,
anymore.
I'll just stay
Yeah,
out at that
yeah.
point.
I
Yeah.
just saw this place. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's here in Florida. It looks like Jamaica. It's this like river where it's like crystal blue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know the place.
So
yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this looks
yeah,
amazing.
one of my friends goes there all the time.
But then I was reading it, it's like attention, like warning, like there is
Yeah.
alligators and crocodiles. Yeah, I was like,
Yes,
that
yeah.
takes all the fun away. Like I don't want to go
it
now.
does because you jump in and the first thing you're looking, and they know how to blend in really good. There's
Oh,
so
hell no.
many this past hurricane, they were swimming in the streets of Tampa and all of that stuff. I mean, you got to be careful out here. For all you Californians who think you're gonna come to Miami, just chill out. This is Jurassic Park.
It really is.
I send all my California people shit. Like, look at this. Will you look at this alligator right here? Look at him. He's in somebody's kitchen. Like a couple weeks ago, one walked in this woman's kitchen, and then I just saw from the hurricane, one was in these people's garage.
Oh my God.
The tide comes up, they come in, and they just chill. And they're like, wait a minute, this is nice.
They're like, this is my
I
house
love what
now."
you did with this garage. Yeah, and then you as a normal citizen, you can't kill it, you can't remove it. You got to call
That's what
somebody.
I was going to ask you because you
Yeah, you have
mentioned
to call
shooting the
somebody.
iguana. I'm like, if you
Yeah.
have a crazy animal in your backyard here.
Iguanas and the Burmese pythons, we can kill them.
Oh, you
We're
can?
told that we can kill them
Really?
because they're invasive species. But it is against the law to kill or maim or try to handle an alligator.
That's crazy. Even if it's
Right.
about to attack you, like I feel like
Yeah, that's what I said.
that has
so
to be
I don't
like-
know how it goes when it attacks you, but everybody here carries a gun. So, if an alligator jumps out of me, bam, 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 I'm going to cut him up. You ever had alligator?
no,
Oh
I
my
haven't.
God.
I have.
It tastes
Is it good?
It tastes pretty good. I mean, it just tastes like people here barbecue them. They They cut them up. I've actually had crocodile, not alligator, but it's, you know, it's the other white meat. I'm gonna get so much shit for that one.
Tastes just like chicken.
Tastes like chicken.
gator
No, it
jerky?
does. It just needs a little tenderizing. It's a little tougher than chicken, but it looks just like a chicken breast. You know? Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
That's the secret,
That's the
to
secret.
youth. The
That's
gator
it.
jerky, babe.
I know.
Yeah. And I've had rattlesnake. I went to Arizona. I had that. I was on a modeling job, and they were like, yeah, this bar's got rattlesnake. You want some? I was like, shit, let's try it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like they did it like popcorn shrimp.
I feel like a
was
lot
like,
of
wow.
these type of experiences happen on modeling trips too, right?
Yeah, you
Oh,
go to these
yeah.
different places, and you know, I mean, one of the things that I learned to play golf on a modeling trip for Ralph Lauren. Like they used to put us in these things, and then they would bring the expert for whoever does it, like rope climbing and different things, and they would teach us all these things, and you picked up a skill, you know, when you did something for
Right.
Ralph Lauren.
That's
because
dope.
they were serious about their whatever they were selling. You know, if they're gonna sell you a mountain climbing jacket, that jacket you definitely was gonna do some mountain climbing in it. You know, and boots, whatever it was, they always
Yeah, they want
made
you to
do
really
something.
be in the
Yeah.
in the role of it, like you said, which is
Yeah.
great for you because, like, you know,
Yeah, because you learn all these great things and you take them with you when you go.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah, that's by far the coolest part about it is just experiencing different cultures. Like
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with much. I never would have traveled the way I
Yeah,
have.
I probably would have never, been all these
he's
places
traveled
I've been.
way more than me, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's the job.
I've
man.
been successful for a while, but I had doing ridiculousness. The way that our filming schedule was very spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my music career on the side of that. So I would always spend my time when I'm not filming working on music and then
Yeah.
kind of get left with not that much time to travel.
Right.
You know, that's what I want to get more into now. Of course, I chose
That's
to do it
it.
after having a baby. Not the
Yeah.
best
No,
time.
you bring her too.
Yeah,
'cause,
well, that's
I
what
mean,
we've
you
been
go to
doing.
Europe, babies are everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So
Yeah.
you know, the Europeans incorporate their kids into everything. You know, they'll go to the beach, and then the kids will be out there, be a topless beach, and it's like they don't care. They're like, that's breast milk. You know what I mean? I don't see some boobs. They don't care.
Yeah.
But the Europeans are so different with their kids than I think we're more sheltered with our kids. But they're like them. Their kids be free. You know, you be out at night, and their kids is out hanging out
Yeah.
like 14, 15 years
You
old.
can tell, like, when I went to Scotland before, and the kids there were like little adults. Like,
Yes,
they're like
yes.
8 and they talk like little adults. And they like,
Yep.
I mean, there was like a 13-year-old smoking a cigarette on the curb. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
I'm like,
different.
dude, and he had like the vibe of like a
Yeah,
60-year-old.
a 60-year-old man.
I'm like, they're so mature.
Yeah.
And some people might think that's bad. Obviously, smoking cigarettes
yeah,
at 13, not
I just
not
was
that
in
great.
Italy for the summer, and it was the same thing.
But I
Like,
think that's something better about like where you expose your kids to a little bit more at a younger age, that they're just, they're just a little bit more knowledgeable
Yeah.
and ready to take on life. You know what I
Because
mean?
remember, their kids over there are drinking at 17, 18
Yeah.
years old. So time they get over here and they're like, "What? I can't drink for till I'm 21." It's like, man, I've been doing Scotch shots since I was little.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
they're definitely different kids. Yeah.
I love that though, how people in Europe, like you said, they bring their kids everywhere. And I do think that that's something that we're trying to be more like that with our
Yeah,
daughter.
no,
Like
for
we want to
sure.
be just more with her. You know, a lot of people are
like
like,
you said, you want to travel, take her with you.
Exactly,
You know,
and-
get her a little passport. Teach her how to carry her little bag.
Yeah.
And, next thing she'd be growing up, she'd be like, man, I've been traveling since I was 2.
I know,
Well,
and
I'll
I
even-
can't wait for her to say that.
Yeah, I'll show
Yeah.
you pictures. Like I'll go to the gym and I'll just let her watch me, and then next thing I know, she like gets on the little machine and she's like,
Yeah,
like
she's
trying
trying
to
to
use
do
it.
her little
She doesn't know what
thing.
she's doing, but it's like
Yeah.
she's taking it all in.
She's taking it all in.
Yeah.
She sees you guys.
Yeah, I love being a mom. I think it's like, it's the most fun in the world.
You got to bring her in one day and interview her.
We were
Sit her
joking
down and be
today.
like,
We
"Hey."
might. We were
Yeah,
like,
you
she came
need
and sat in
to.
this chair and looked so cute. We're
Yeah.
like, we should just ask her questions and then just
ask
like have her
questions.
funny baby talk.
So yeah, how was the formula today? Was it good? Was it not? How those new diapers feeling on you? You got to ask her things that she's going to relate to. She's going to give you an answer.
So you only have one son, right?
I only have one.
And-
yeah. I'd
What's-
love to
what
have some
stopped
more.
you? Yeah, what stopped you?
I'm just trying to find somebody to make some babies with. It's just, between my work schedule, it's crazy.
Were
But
you-
if I take off with both these shows,
Yeah.
I plan to do nothing but shoot one for 6 months, jump to the other one for another 6 months, and just keep that going, and then shoot whatever in between,
Were you
Yeah.
with your son's mom for a long time?
Yeah, I was with her for a long time. We're like good friends to this day, she'll call me like the other day. She called me like, yeah, what should we get him for his birthday? And I was like, well, you tell me. I'll go half on it with you. So we constantly still talk every day, and I seen her in a New York hat because she's from Philly. So I was like, the Yankees are in the playoffs right now, and I was like, hey, how come you wearing a Yankees hat? She's like, New York's been good to me. And I was like, oh, I know it has. So we kid and we joke a lot. We flirt still. That'll never change.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would even, like, just because I'm in the thick of it right now, at this point in your life, would you even have like the energy to just start over with another kid?
Of course. Yeah, I would definitely do it. I love kids.
That's
like,
awesome.
I mean, they to me, they're like little people. You learn so much from them, and they learn so much from you. And when they get to that stage where they ask you a million questions, but why is the sky blue? Why is it? You're gonna be like, geez, okay, right on. And you got to have a good answer. Don't give them no bullshit, because they'll see through that. That don't make no sense, Dad.
Yeah.
So you better look stuff up. You're going, okay, this is what I got to tell them the next time they ask me, why is the grass green? Oh, chlorophyll. Okay, let me tell them that. They're going to ask you all these things, and it's just like, it's a little person that just wants all the information that you can feed them. Once they got enough from you, they're like, okay, now I got to go to school. Now I got to talk to a professor. Now I got to read this book.
Yeah.
But you're going to love it. I mean, parenting is probably one of the best things I ever did.
Yeah. I feel that
That's
already.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Our
love
careers and all the stuff that we do is cool, but there's no better satisfaction than being a parent and watching your kid grow up. And then when you get to drop them off at school, be like, bye. Yeah, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a good thing.
Well, nowadays,
and then
it's
day camp and after school camp, that's going to be a really good thing.
All the camps.
Well, it's
Summer
like,
camp. Bye. See you
I
next
don't know,
summer.
man. Some of the crazy things going on in schools these days. We're like, do we want to homeschool? What do we want to do?
I mean,
Like,
I got a
There's
neighbor
kids that are acting like animals.
I got a neighbor who homeschools their kid. Damien is his name as well. I was on my way coming into you guys, and he was like, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to do another podcast." He's like, "All right, I'll see you when you come back." So he's outside riding his bike at 11 in the morning. I'm just like, the life.
Yeah.
We got kids wearing tails and ears.
No,
to
no,
school
like
and
I
stuff.
saw this whole video, and that's what I literally told Dom after that. I was like, we have to put her in homeschool. It was this video about kids like venting on a news thing, and they're like, we're sick of the furries. We're sick of them. It was this one little kid who like reminded me of like an 80s like actor.
Dude, there's kids going to school right now. They're acting like they're animals.
They
and
act
not
like
joking.
animals, and
They're
they'll
actually
scratch
like
kids and
barking at
bark
people.
and stuff. And the teachers are like, just let them be. Da, da, da. And the other kids who like are like
Where is this happening?
a lot of places.
You'd be
Wow.
surprised, man.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that in New York City.
No,
You'd be
but-
like, yo, you a cat? Okay, cat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird. And like, that's what the one little kid was venting on the news. And he's like, we're sick of it, man. He's like, they bark at us and they scratch at us and they're just allowed to get away with it.
Oh, yeah, right. He's upset with that. Yeah, I feel that. Wow.
I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah, homeschool isn't something normal here in Florida.
It is?
Yeah, it's very normal here in Florida.
really?
Yeah, because I got like 3 kids on my block who are homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
So, like, they're home in the daytime. I'll be working out, like, about noon or so. They'll come over, like, what are you doing, Mr. B? I said, I'm working out. They're like, you ain't got no gym class. Jump in if you want. The parents try to take them outside. They do have their little gym class, but I don't know. I kind of like school.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy. I'm saying this right now, but when I was in school, I liked going because I had, I had social skills.
Yeah.
I talked to other kids. We would gossip. We would like eat lunch, talk shit. Do whatever, make fun of the teacher. I would miss all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there really is nothing like it, honestly.
Yeah.
Just the whole like vibe and the camaraderie and like the experiences you have just like at lunch,
I mean, it probably won't be the same for them like it was for us, but I mean, I enjoyed school to a certain point. Yeah. And I mean, it was like we looked for the weekends. High school was like, yeah, we're gonna get a keg, man, and do this. Whose parents is not home, party it. That's all part of being a kid.
That was one of the funnest things in high school. I feel like it was always like, so whose parents are gone this weekend?
Yeah,
Where
right.
are we throwing the
Sneaking
party?
out, yeah, or we would find a place and build a bonfire, and
Oh my God,
and then the
sneaking
college kids would come with a keg, and they're like, oh,
I hate
shit,
to
we're
admit
drinking.
that I was this type of teenager, but I literally like I'd think to like, you have friends who live in apartment buildings. I'm like, dang, she lives on the 3rd floor. We can't sneak out of there. Let's stay at Dominique's house. I had a friend named Dominique. That's his full name, Dominique. I had a friend named Dominique, and she had a little house, a 1-story house. I was like, no, we got to stay at Dominique's house. We could sneak out her bedroom window. And it was like, that was the place where we would sneak out.
That's it, yeah. I was a cool kid with my kid growing up. Like, yo, y'all going out? All right, well, shit, let me drop y'all off.
That's cool.
You know, and then the kids would always want to come stay. Like, man, I got you.
Yeah.
Hey, just call me if anything.
Yep.
Call me if anything. For real.
It's better to be
cool,
that
though,
type
like,
of parent.
Yeah.
And
You want to be that parent because then when I took my kid, he graduated high school, I took him to Spain. You know, I took him to Ibiza and hung out with David Guetta and all these different people.
Oh, that's dope.
You know, we went to DC-10.
Yeah, all the
and
places.
then he was like, yo, Dad, some guy keeps asking me if I want to party. I was like, where is he? Hey, motherfucker, stay away from my kid. He don't want to party like that. Get away from me, you know?
That's so funny.
And he's like, Dad, what did he mean? I was like, man, he means drugs, son. Oh, because he kept touching his nose. I didn't know if he had a booger. He's telling me I had a booger. I'm like, yeah.
That's definitely Ibiza for you.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I went to Ibiza and I stayed at a friend's house. My friend Lana, her family has a house there, beautiful house.
Nice.
And I love tropical places.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just wanted to see the blue water and go to Formentera.
Yeah, Formentera,
And so every night they'd be like, okay, we're going out tonight, like DC-10, all these places.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. It'd be like 7 a.m. and I'm like, when are we leaving? Like, I want to go home.
DC-10 is like, DC-10, the sun is coming up.
These people don't go home to the like till 10 a.m. there, and then you have your friends hitting you up at 12, like, hey, we're gonna go on the boat, and I'm like, we just got home and went to bed.
We just got home. Okay, you got that Mexican marching powder. Okay, we know what's going on. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's the funniest thing too. Like, and this is also why I need to travel more. So I'm like Spanish in my head. Like I grew up in LA. I love my Mexican food. I love my burritos, tacos. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be the greatest trip. I'm just gonna eat burritos and tacos. Dude, everything was pizza and pasta. I was like, this is Italy. I was like, I thought we were in a Spanish place.
No, you are in a Spanish place.
And it's so funny.
Paella.
But it's like more like Italian, like the food and stuff. It's more pasta, more pizza.
More fresh, like type of stuff.
Funny though, because I was like, wait, where are the tacos?
No, you're getting that. They don't even know what that is. Taco, I don't know.
Isn't that funny though? Like, but yeah.
But everywhere in the world there's a Mexican restaurant.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so you can find that. You're like, hey, where's the Mexican restaurant? Over there. That's
I know.
it.
I think like next to America, because I think American food has probably become like fast food American food, like McDonald's. That's probably become the most popular food in the world.
It really is.
Because that's
over there.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But then I think the second most popular is probably Mexican.
Probably so, yeah.
Right?
And well, maybe Chinese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chinese is
I could
everywhere
go for some
too.
Mexican food right now.
I know. I could go for some Mexican food right now too.
That's it.
Actually,
Well, that's
have
what
you
we're
had
having for
Tacombi?
lunch. That's it.
Have you had Tacombi?
Tacombi.
I'm about to put you on.
Oh,
Bro.
where's that? That's here in Miami?
it's right
it's
by
in
the
Brickell.
Yeah, it's by the city center.
Oh,
Best
I used to
Mexican
live in
food.
Brickell.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Oh,
It's the best.
There we have it.
Her real estate guy introduced us to it, and now we're just
Okay. That's nice. You tried Luke's Lobsters too? Oh my God, that's
All
good.
right.
And Casa too?
got-
Oh my God.
we got
There
a couple
we
days
go.
here. We gotta try it out.
Take your kid to Casa too. She's gonna have pasta all over her face. She gonna love it. She gonna thank you for it later.
What's your diet like nowadays, Zach?
My diet consists of a lot of fish because, we're here by the ocean. So for me, I eat a lot of fish. I don't eat any red meat.
Okay.
Really?
I eat pretty clean. I'm a big fruits and vegetable guy. No dairy. Try not to eat anything with preservatives or vegetable oil or canola oil or
Dude,
any
I'm on
one
the
of those
same
things.
way.
Yeah,
You gotta
stay
get his
away
new
from all of
cookbook.
that.
Oh,
you got a
yeah.
cookbook?
So
It's
yes,
coming
I'm
out.
coming.
Hook
It's
the
like
brother up. Hook the brother
yes,
up.
yes. So here's the thing. So actually, thank you for bringing that up because
Yeah,
you'll be
let's
able to
do it.
relate. So through the beginning of my modeling career, I was, obviously you're traveling. I
Yeah.
didn't really understand like what I was supposed to eat. So
Right.
I'm like, appearing perfect on camera, but secretly like suffering from just bad like stomach aches and just inflammation and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it took me a while of like trial and error to kind of figure
Figure out what
like,
you can
you're
do, what
supposed
you
to
can't
eat.
do. Yeah.
So this cookbook I'm coming out with, there's a lot of great recipes, like delicious recipes, but
Okay.
it's more about like the approach to what I,
Yeah, yeah.
and like
And what
here's some
nutrients
delicious
you
recipes
need.
you
Yeah,
can eat,
yeah.
while still having this philosophy.
yeah.
Because a lot of people think that you have to eat like boring to be
No,
healthy.
you don't have to eat boring.
You
and
don't.
People think you have to eat bland.
Yes.
There's food out there in the world that It is really good.
I feel like I eat better now than
I enjoyed
ever.
going to Italy. I enjoyed working in Paris because I was like, I'm going to eat good. You know? And your agent is like, I'm going to take you here. You're like, shit, let's go because I can't afford it. You know? So let's go.
No, but you should definitely, once the book comes out, check out his cookbook.
Okay,
because
I'll send you a copy for
it's
sure.
just
Send
like
me a
what you
copy.
said.
Be
No,
the guest.
Bro.
Every guest that comes on should get a book.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but no preservatives. No, and it's like I've gotten so much healthier. Like, and I can tell.
No GMOs and all of that stuff.
Before having a baby, I've always been a petite, skinny girl that could eat whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
That changed. Like I could tell, like, oh shoot, after having a baby, my body's different, and so I had to really start eating healthy. And it's crazy because, you know, I am still like, because of being that way my whole life, like I still want to sneak my Taco Bell here and there or whatever. He's much more strict than me.
I can tell you right now, I've never had Taco Bell.
You've never had Taco Bell?
Never had Taco Bell.
Yeah, it's for the best.
I can tell you the ones that I had. I had McDonald's and I had Burger King and KFC, but that's pretty much
Bro,
it.
I'll tell you right
You've
now.
never had Taco Bell?
No.
With
That's
the way
crazy.
the way you eat now, if you had Taco Bell now, it would put you out of commission for like 3 days.
I'd probably lose half my guts over that toilet.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Once you eat a certain way and it's been that way for years, you can't go.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can't. If the world was going to end and that was the only food left, I'd be dead.
No, for real.
Yeah,
like
I can't go eat.
Whenever I go
now.
to eat, like sneak my Taco Bell now or my Shake Shack or whatever, because I've gotten so used to this healthy diet that Dom is on. I tell him.
She's always like, oh my
I'm
God.
like,
But there
I
was
feel
one
sick,
thing
I
at
feel
Shake
sick.
Shack I used to be able to eat the hot dogs, the chicken hot dogs.
okay.
They had
I
that at
could-
Shake Shack?
Yeah, they had it a
that's
long time ago, and now it's gone.
Oh, really?
like, yeah.
Because they realize probably more people are just getting their burgers than the hot dog.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but I look forward to it. That was like my cheat. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and get 2 hot dogs. You know, chicken franks.
Yeah,
you know?
no, but like now when I eat Shake Shack, it's like I still love it in the moment. It's great.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shake Shack.
Yeah.
But I'll notice after I'm like,
you feel,
dang, I don't feel good.
Yes,
And I only feel good now when I'm eating super healthy, the way he cooks with no oil, no preservatives, just super
and then
natural.
if you do use any oil, use like an extra virgin olive oil, light at that too. Yeah,
Or like a beef tallow or a ghee butter or even coconut oil.
Yeah,
avocado
coconut oil as well. Yep,
you know.
I got that all in the house. You can put it on the skin and you can put it in the food.
Yeah, low key coconut oil is like has millions of uses. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. You're like, I'm ashy. Let me get this.
You know, it's a natural
Let me cook a
sunscreen,
little
too.
bit. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really good. I get the best tan from that one, boy.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe
Very
that's
good.
what I need to go slather on and get my tan on, dude.
That's
'Cause
it.
My
But
tan time's
First,
minimal with the
I
baby.
wouldn't say do it the first day. I say do it maybe a couple days after you've got your tan going.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like full sunscreen.
Yeah, she's
you know?
like British and Russian. So
Right,
you
you're
gotta
gonna
take it slow.
you're gonna be a
Yeah.
lobster. Yeah, you gotta take it slow.
No,
you
no.
can't be running hard like
But
us,
I
girl.
do tan good after I burn.
Yeah. After you get the burn
After
off.
I burn, it turns into a tan.
Yeah,
you know.
no,
So
it
I'm just a
does.
little red
Typical,
for a
yeah.
little
Yeah,
bit.
call
That's all right. Nothing wrong
These
with
days I
a
call her a
lobster.
little red chest.
Yeah, red chest. That's it. It'd be
I
like-
say I joke around because
and then when you touch it, it's like, ay.
no, like
How would you know?
Yeah, I know. I got friends who, I got my white
he's like,
friends.
I got white friends.
I got my white friends. I'll be out there with the 50 and the 100. Come here, man. Don't run from it. No, don't give me that shit. You're gonna be all right. You're not gonna be all right. Because I know. They're like, nah, I'm all right. I'm like, yo, you red, bro. If I can take my glasses down and see that you red, you red.
See-
and they be running from me. I'm like, come here. I got you. Put this on. You're gonna thank me later.
But that's the catch-22 nowadays, though, because now I'm finding out that all the sunscreen's like toxic.
Yeah,
so
that
it's
shit,
like, what the heck?
I had to find all the good ones without all the
Benzino. Benzino's hiding in it.
Sorry, bro. the
Benzino's a rapper.
benzite, all those crazy chemicals that you can't pronounce. Yeah, so yeah, you really got to watch. Like I have this app that I'm on now called Yucca, and you scan the labels with Yucca, and Yucca will tell you out of 100 how good it is.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah,
We need
so
that app.
it's
I'm in.
simple. Download it,
Yeah.
Yucca out there, and it'll tell you like skincare stuff. It'll tell you anything. All you need is the barcode, and it'll tell you everything: what's in it, what's bad that's in it, what's good in it. You know, and it'll give you a 1 out of 100 rating.
Shoot, you should be their
So,
spokesperson.
I
Come
should
Come
be.
on.
I know they need to hire me because
I'm getting
so
it.
many people onto it. Like I put so many people.
I know.
onto
Well,
it.
before we put people onto too many things that we're not getting paid for,
Right. Yucca, send me a check.
we'll just leave it at that.
That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that Eating healthy is like such a big thing now. I think
really
that
is.
after the pandemic, a lot of people, especially people who got COVID,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
like myself, I was one of those people. I actually got COVID like before the pandemic. So
Oh, really?
So I didn't know
Okay.
what I had. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm dying.
Yeah.
And then
that must have been scary.
it was so scary. And then 2 months later, the pandemic happens, and I hear like what the
Yeah,
you know,
the symptoms
and I'm
are,
like,
and you like, I went through that.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I hear how contagious it was, and I said, oh my God, I was definitely a super spreader.
Yeah.
but after that, I did notice a few like, you know, different things with my body, and I was having like some headaches and stuff. And so I already was super into supplements and vitamins.
Yeah.
But during the pandemic, I got really into juicing and just way more into my fitness and my health. And I think that because of the pandemic, just everybody in general kind of woke up a little bit and was
Yes, we
like,
did.
how do we
Yeah.
become healthier, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that that's the wave now.
Yeah, I mean, every morning with my breakfast, I have a fruit plate of berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, pineapple, grapes, you know, and I incorporate that. And then I drink a green juice, you know, that has everything in it. You know, we're just, you know, and then today I had turmeric ginger tea.
Nice.
I was like, yeah,
that's so
what you had to
strong.
drink. I was like, yeah. We're doing things that we didn't think of doing before, but you see the difference when you're doing all of this.
I think you should also like, I don't know if you do, but all these things too, especially, you know, Dom's getting more into posting all of his health and fitness stuff. Okay. But
Yeah, because we're trying to slow down the clock.
But at your age and how great you look, I think so many people want to hear what are you doing?
Oh, I love to just break down everything. I mean, there's so many different little things, from the shea butter or the coconut oil that I use. You know, it's just so many different things. You could
start posting all of it, because I'm gonna follow everything.
100%, 100%.
I'm
And
like,
the most important thing is water and sleep. I tell people all the time, it's a simple thing that costs you nothing. Water and sleep. Like, I'll drink throughout the day, I'll drink about a gallon of water. That's what makes me keep going to the bathroom.
I gotta get better at it.
It gets you'll start off in the morning, you'll pee yellow, and then throughout the day, you'll see how light it gets. And then, you know, my doctor always says, you always get here and you're always hydrated. I say, yeah, because I plan to see you at noon. By 8 o'clock, I'm already drinking my first big glass of water, and continuously by the time I get to you, I'm already like 8 glasses in.
Oh my God.
We're big on our water.
I try to be better.
And I have one of those mason jars that tells me how much is in it. So I'll fill it up, and then like sometimes I'll even line them up and like, all right, I got to drink this, you know, and I'll go through the day and I'll drink it all.
You're
like,
good
oh
at that.
God.
See, I'm the type of person, it's like, I have a hard time like just drinking if I'm not thirsty.
Yeah.
Like to go and force myself to drink some water, I'm like,
I force myself.
the
even when
funniest though, I'm getting
thirsty.
better at it. Like now, when I know I'm trying to get more water in my system, I'll literally pretend to myself, pretend you're at the club downing
you're
Patron.
knocking down 8 of these. You know, 8. Yeah,
I need to drink some right now. On
yeah,
that
that's
note,
it. You know, drink 8 of them.
Yeah, I'm big on water, but I do have a hard time drinking enough water when I'm working. Like if I'm on set or something.
You get these. They got all these things now, the electrolytes that you can add to your water. I mean, it's not as natural as drinking water.
I'm big
itself,
on just like the quality sea salt and stuff. You know.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah, that's really
I feel like
good.
salt's not the enemy that people.
No,
think
it's
it
not.
is.
But you got to get that. It's the one. It's pink.
Oh, the Himalayan salt.
Salt game.
We're deep in the salt game.
That's it. Yeah. You got to know it.
Hey,
you got to
man.
know it.
Yo, thank you so much for coming today.
Seriously.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Thanks
I
for
feel like
having me.
We barely scratched the surface. I always
I
feel
know,
that
but
way.
there's so much. I mean, there's another reason to invite me back.
Yeah,
Be like,
for sure.
hey, guess who's coming back again tomorrow?
sure.
Well, we're gonna be here in Miami more. You should stay at our
yeah,
condo
no,
sometime.
I'm here. Yeah. I'll give you my number. You guys hang out, call me.
For
I
sure.
do babysitting. I'm very good. You know. Next thing you know, we'll have story time. And be like, all of that.
That's
I'm
funny.
so good with kids.
Aw, that's great.
Like the little kids in my neighborhood, they come to my house. They're like, "Can I borrow your TV remote?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what are we watching?" And then they put on like, what's the Simpsons? Or
Yeah.
I was like, y'all still watching this? But then I find myself sitting down watching it with them. I'm like, all right, here we go.
I love that. I love that. But I love to hear everything you've had to say today. I'm super
Yeah, for
excited
sure.
to see Pretty Boy.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Me too.
I
I'm
think it's
really
gonna be-
excited. So we start everything in 2025. So
Nice.
from now, I'm just kind of like getting cast and crew together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add you to the list because you said you would.
I will
Don't
do
be
a
trying
role
to
in
front
it.
now.
I'm like, I don't
hey,
know. Did
I need you.
Did Fergie make a cameo in your life? I could be young Fergie.
That's it, right? Yeah, you are giving me young Fergie right now. I love that. That's a good idea.
will.i.am and Black Eyed Peas would joke with me and call me little Fergie, and I know, like, you know, in that era of when you were like doing your thing, that's when Black Eyed Peas were doing their thing. So I was like, there has to be a Fergie cameo at some point in your story.
We got you.
You know, she probably showed up at some table you were at some point.
I got some work for you guys. Don't you worry.
Let's do it, man.
We would love it. Yeah, we'll talk more about that modeling show idea.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. I'm very serious about that. But we can't let you guys know.
I'm so happy I came on today.
I'm so happy you did too.
You have great energy, like super cool.
Yeah, we have to have the male model link up.
That's it. You know, might have to have a walk off. You got to challenge the king when he comes.
Hold on. Last but not least, I have to ask this.
What's that?
Really quick.
Yeah.
You were in Zoolander.
Yes.
Oh, really quick. I think
I'm still getting residual checks from that.
I think the best way for us to go today, I think both of you need to give your best Zoolander to the camera.
Blue steel.
So give your best blue steel. First, let's see Tyson's. Go.
Oh,
damn. Okay.
How can I compete with that?
Okay, now go, Dom. Now where's your blue? Give me your blue steel.
Let's go. All right.
Give me your blue steel.
Oh, look at that. Did you see those eyes? Oh, he just switched on. Yo, he switched on. Yo, that's so amazing to watch somebody else switch on. I thought I was the other one, but there you go. That was good. That was good.
That was great. That was how we had to end this because
of course, no other way.
It's one thing to be a male supermodel. It's another thing to be a male supermodel who also was in the biggest movie ever about male supermodels.
And we're not even talking part two. Part two was bad. One? Oh, that's a legendary
Dude, I was so
film.
excited to watch the second one, and then
I didn't even watch it. I just stuck to the first.
Man.
Well,
Tyson Beckford.
On that note, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys. I appreciate
Such an honor to have you.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, we'll link up again soon. And you guys, thank you so much for watching the Laugh Podcast. As usual, hope you had lots of laughs at home watching us.
That's it.
Mwah.
Laters.